My dear sisters and brothers, everything that we have received comes from God. And we must use them insofar as they help us for the end for which we are created, to revere, to praise, and to serve God. Revere because all things are having His presence. Everywhere in Him we live, move, and have our being. He is there. Praise because we receive so much of good. So many things we have received. A good night's sleep. Some of you don't sleep, yes. But why? Many things have happened in you because perhaps you have taken it too much on yourself. Surrender it to the Lord. He is the one who will give us this peace which the world cannot give. So don't be attached to the worldly things, but be attached to the Lord. Surrender it to Him and you're free. And to serve. When we serve others, actually we are serving ourselves because we have, all of us in the same body of Jesus, a life. And when we are concerned about, look at how the hands, the legs, the body is concerned about other parts. We need a coordinated effort, and then we see how our body functions. But we need purity of intention so that our thoughts, our feelings, our behavior, all is aligned to the goodness of God who dwells in us. And so, if we have something lacking, don't be afraid of it. Don't keep grumbling about it. What we have, let us be happy about. We don't have everything, but we have some things, and that is good enough. Let us be content with it. What is important is that inner freedom. And if you look at the readings, it is telling us about this inner freedom which comes from detachment to all things. You must not be attached. I have an expression which I like very much. You must be attachedly detached and detachedly attached, so that there is an inner freedom. And that freedom helps us to grow into the likeness of God, to be perfected in our Father. Jesus Himself told us that. And every one of us feels a call to live in God, to live in Jesus. Frederick Ozanam was also one of them who experienced it. There were many children, but only 3 survived for his dad, and he was born in Milan in 1813. It was a French area, and so once he finished his studies, or for his studies, he came to Paris and was in the Sorbonne, the university. There he was pursuing literature, but his dad wanted him to be an advocate, a lawyer. So after he had satisfied himself with the literature, he went in for the law studies, and he became a PhD in that. He was excellent. He was the most brightest person, and he had many government jobs. But in this meantime, he had also friends with whom he would discuss literature and other things, society. And he was introduced to one sister who were the daughters of charity, and they lived in the slum area, in the poor areas, like that. When he saw their life, he had a call, like how Mother Teresa, when she was traveling, she saw the poor, and he had a call to reach out to the poor. And while they did all this literary work and they were on the top, he was also visiting the poor. And that is how his friends and they began the conferences. He was inspired by Vincent de Paul and his work with the poor. And so this going out to the poor in their homes and reaching out to them at the spiritual as well as the material level became the conferences. Today, Vincent de Paul is so famous throughout the world. Wherever the church is, this work continues for the poor. Yes, religious are doing it, but the lay people together, they are also doing this work to care for the poor. Our province has also taken up a venture with Vincent de Paul to help in rehabilitating those who have been alcoholics or drug addicts. So when they are healed, they are given space to continue to live in that way by which they are not into it. And so they can live their life not on labels, because sometimes at home they label you and you remain in that label, and then you begin to fall back on your old habits. So let us pray for all these conferences and for all the people who reach out to the poor. Not only do they belong to Vincent de Paul and reach out to others, there are many of you who out of your great devotion and love for Jesus are able to, like Mother Teresa, see Jesus in the poor and reach out to them. Let us ask for this grace. Let us join our hands together, close our eyes, and be fully united to Jesus who is united to us. Surrender all our thoughts and feelings and behavioral patterns to Him so that we are internally free. That His presence, His Spirit will lead us in our thoughts, words, and deeds.